Hello, greetings to you, wherever you're watching from. My name is Asedeh, and welcome to another episode of the program Let's Talk Missions. I am coming your way earlier today because of a lot of schedules and a lot of things that needs to be done. So I am hopeful that we're going to have a fruitful time this morning. Thank you for joining me. Well, this is morning here in Lancaster. I don't know what time you're watching me. I don't know what time you're listening to me, but I do hope that in this little time that we have always been together, you will find something fruitful. And as you may have seen from my topic of today, I'm sort of shifting from, am I really shifting? Well, I'm bringing a different perspective to today's episode. I want to talk about my skydiving experience. This is primarily because I've heard some, not many, but some people have seen a picture that I put on my cover page on Facebook and have really wondered how that happened. And are wondering also, how can that relate? How has that affected me? How has that been positive or negative? And does it even have any correlation with missions? So I thought to myself, I said, well, I think this would be a good thing if I am able to just say a little bit about how the experience is and leave entirely the application or, yeah, the relationship of that to you. So it's entirely up to the listener to maybe ask questions. And actually, I also judge that that would be a really wonderful um, tool to create a conversation because that's the goal of what we do here at Replica Church. Because you matter to God, so we do what we want, what we hope is going to create a conversation, something that we hope is going to engage us and make you ask questions. So if you've had anything that is challenging to you, if you've had anything that maybe you've been daring to do, I don't know how my story is going to help you, but I hope that in one way or another, you will be able to be challenged. So I'm just going to go in this pattern. I'll tell you what led to it and how it happened. And then, if we have enough time, maybe room for questions. So, as many may have known who have known me for a while, I love to do stuff that I think I cannot do. I think one of them includes talking to you right now because I am, um, I would say, a shy person in some ways, and in some ways, I am very, very not shy. So, but I thought about doing something that will challenge me, and then it became something of a life goal, and I wanted to do something that is going to be sort of a landmark in a way to turn things around from the way I see how things are the way I do things. So I thought about skydiving. Well, it cost a little bit, but then because I was determined, because I want to experience it, because um, I think it's something that will help me overcome one of my major fears, which is the fear of heights. I know it might sound funny, it might sound incongruent, but yes, it's true. I am afraid of heights. And I figured, well, possibly one way to destroy this fear of heights is to get 10,000 feet high in the sky and just jump down, which is an insane experience or an insane expression. However, I dared. I dared to confront that fear. I've had people, well, I did not share with a lot of people, I only shared with those who were of close interest, with those who are within my circle, with those who were really close to me to be able to ask for their consent, to ask for their advice. Because you see, I feel when you are making major life decisions, when you make it public, you have a public opinion. You have a lot of people who want to control or tell you what to do. So that is why it came as a surprise for many people when they saw it, like, whoa, what happened? Uh, but I am grateful that I had the support of people who were really close to me who said, you know, this is risky, this is scary, but you know the reason why you feel you want to do it. And if you're confident enough, go ahead. You have my support, you have my prayers. And I did my research, checked about how things are done, what are the risks involved, and I made my decision. So I called up the skydiving school, a club actually, somewhere here within the neighborhood of Lancaster. And I said, well, I'm interested. And we started to make appointments. So it got delayed over time again and again and again because the weather wasn't so great for me to go out. At the point, I was ready to almost just jump out. I mean, to quit because I felt these people have just kept postponing. But that postponement has actually been for my own benefit. That postponement has actually been for my safety. But because I was curious, I was eager, I wanted to do it, and I thought they didn't want it. So, but then I realized it was for my own safety after all. So when the time came, or when the day arrived, it was a beautiful, beautiful day. It was just the perfect day for that jump. So we arrived at the airport with my wife, who has been of support in this scary and daring venture. And with my kids, I wanted them to just be present. I must confess, when we entered into the plane to take off, I was scared. I was really scared. After I signed the waiver that it entails that I am willing to take the risk and all of that, because that was another reality check to say, okay, this is dangerous, but you're willing to accept whatever the consequences is. I did my own research again and found out that there are people, especially the video I came across from Will Smith, that says God has placed the good things of life on the other side of fear. Will Smith had taken his own skydive experience in Dubai when he went out with his family on a vacation. And he talked about it, and it was such a beautiful, beautiful video of that has just, in a way, revolutionized the way I think when it comes to risk taking. So I've watched that video, and then especially the exact thing he described about going up online. I mean, going that led him to the jump is the same thing I experienced. The fear of, am I really crazy? What if things don't go right? A million and one things ran through my mind as the airplane was taking off. And the form they would say, if you feel like and you won't do it, just make sure you mention before you get up. And at the point, I wanted to tap on the person that was jumping with me and tell him, I'm not doing anymore. But that was when I switched to prayer while the airplane was taking off. I spoke to myself the things that I hope to achieve when I land safe, the things that I hope to achieve, the way I want to live. And I spoke to God and tried to make sure that my heart was just right, that I was doing the right thing to grab what it was that I needed to do. So we took off, and I had no idea how high 10,000 feet was until we really got to that point when the moment of truth came. The lid to the door opened and the air was flowing. The first thing in my mind was, okay, what about all of those things we see in movies that make you feel as though if there is an air, then I realized it's a different airplane and it's a different speed, it's a different altitude. So come on. Well, uh, I was scared at the point of jumping. The moment came, and I was like this, and I looked down, and it wasn't really close. My heart began to pound heavily, heavily. But I said, I am here now, and there is no going back. So, two words from the crew, the cameraman, the pilot was eating a sandwich when he was taking off. So at that point, I thought, well, if this guy is just eating a sandwich and taking off on a plane, that means this thing has to be easy. And then the crew says, the cameraman says, let's have fun. And he was outside already on the shoulder of the plane, on the wing of the plane, and he's looking at me saying, ready? And we jumped. Oh my God, my heart pounded and pounded really hard. But then after a few seconds of the jumping of my head swirling around, then I heard that tap, which he said he was going to give to me. That when I hear the tap, I should just open my hands and imagine that I was flying. And when he tapped me, I just opened. And oh my goodness, it was one of the most beautiful feeling I have ever experienced. It was incredible. That there are no words to express it until you have experienced it. I opened up my wings. Well, I call them wings now. My arms turned to my wings, and I was literally flying. I was so excited. My mouth was dry. I just oh, it was it was an exciting experience. So I opened my hands with, free fly, turned around, had all those fun, and then from a state of panic, then to a flow of adrenaline to just being excited, and then he signaled to the cameraman to make space so that because I mean they took pictures. I have a video, and he released the parachute, and then we went back up while the cameraman continued to go down. And then within just a few seconds, it was a peaceful and calm experience, as though I was just standing up in the sky. So I started to observe all the landmarks, all the things that were around me. He was just showing me. We just started to talk. It was a beautiful, calming experience. And then he gave me some of the parachute to control. You go this way, you go that way. This is how you jump, and this is how you turn the parachute to the right or you turn it to the left, and this is how you turn around. We did a lot of fun things, and then he said that is the place we are landing. I couldn't even see my wife and kids and the people who were going to pick us from the drop zone because they were very tiny. So I came down, landed, and was screaming on top of my lungs. I just want to do it again. Yes, that is a kind of a summary of a picture of one of those things that I did, or how it felt like to experience a skydive. So I've just shared with you the story of how it started and how it happened. And here I am today telling you the story. We have always talked on Let's Talk Missions that we want to have a conversation. We want to talk about issues that are pressing, about issues that relate to missions. I'm not using this as a standard to say you have to be this or you have to do a skydiving to do missions. However, some of the principles I think are really applicable in this situation, in that you may have really a challenge that possibly you feel you cannot overcome to be able to do what you feel called to do. And I want to tell you that actually the only experience you need is in doing and daring the impossible, because there is no fulfillment for you on this side of fear until you have taken the step of faith into the unknown. I want to relate this to the call of Abraham. It was a daring call. He dared to answer. And that was the only way his dream could come true. That was the only way his desire for a land could happen. That was the only way his desire for a son came to pass. It is incredible how much challenging things are when you want to get them done. What has been in your heart for long, something you have been dreaming about, it is when you come to take that step of doing it that the fear becomes the greatest. But when you take that courage, that confidence, muster all the energy you have in you and say to yourself, if I die, let me die, that is the way that the door cracks open for you. That is when you experience an unusual peace of mind. That is when you experience a breakthrough that you yourself will wonder, how did that happen? Nothing gets done until you have taken the step to dare. You see, life itself is a risk that we take. Everything is a risk. You getting up this morning is a risk. You facing going to work is a getting in your car is a risk. Being in the kitchen is a risk. That is just even within being in the bathroom, you could slip and fall. You don't know what's in the air. It's a risk that you are taking to say, I believe it's going to be fine. I dare that it's going to be okay. I know God has got my back. So, why is it that when it comes to the point of what you know is going to help you become even much more happier, much more fulfilled, much more determined, that fear becomes the biggest? Did I ask that question right? Why is it that it is when we grow up, when we were younger, the dream to achieve things, the dream to do things, we spoke them easily. I want to build a skyscraper. I will buy my dad an airplane. I'll build my mom a house. I'm going to do this when I grow up. I'm going to become an engineer. I'm going to become a doctor. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. We have a lot of things that we want to achieve as kids. But as we grow up, all of these things become crowded with excuses, with reasons just not to do it. Is it that when we grow up, instead of our faith growing, it diminishes? Or why does this happen? I think I see the point of Jesus here in this perspective when he says you need to become like kids to enter the kingdom of God. Because kids are not scared. Kids are confident to stand before others. There are some kids, as they grow older, become shy because of many other reasons. I can tell you 1,001 things as to why I was talked into not going by some people, even those who don't, among whom I shared my reasons. I mean, my experience. But you need to be able to dare the impossible. You need to be able to dare that which is difficult for you. The same risk that it takes you to get out of the house is the same thing that it will take you to dare to answer the call of God to some place you don't know. It is almost the same risk it's going to take for you to even just to start a business you want to start. It's the same risk. How it might not be on the same magnitude of tension that you see, but it is still a risk that you are taking. The perspective needs to change from your mindset on how you see that, because it really doesn't make much difference. and it will remain undone until you take the daring step to say, I will do this, even if it kills me. I have I don't know how to put it. I really do not know how to experience it. But you have to be willing. Did I say I don't know how to experience it? I don't know how to explain it in a way that is going to be short for you to understand or for you to grasp that this experience for me has changed the way I see life entirely. I am not there where I want to be, but it has propelled me to a place of understanding life is a risk. And as long as I take that risk every day, it is up to me to know or to understand, to be able to put my life into perspective and to dare what I desire. Like I said again, I am not there. I am not, I've not achieved everything, but I am striving to take steps to fulfill that which I feel called to. I say it out to you today as a challenge. As you live, remember, living your life itself is a risk. So do not let the fear of unknown keep you bound to not wanting to dare what you know will make you who God has created you to be. Take the risk and share the story of how it felt like to conquer your fears. My name is Asedeh, and I'm really very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you for listening. I hope to come your way again. It might not be same time, but next week, definitely on a Wednesday, to create a conversation. Leave your comments below and any questions that you have about what I've just shared, and we can pick up from there. I must also say thank you to those who made a comment on my last episode, and thank you for your contributions. Those who reached out in private and those who made their comment out or out here. Thank you very much. We will continue to create content that we hope will bring about conversation and encourage and motivate you towards living a life that will bring God glory and living a life that makes you fulfilled. We do this because you matter to God. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful week.